now in your current role, you don't just work on like one material, but you get the opportunity to work on several different materials and with different labs, different groups, answering different sorts of questions. So it sounds to me that you are involved in a lot of interesting and fascinating research projects. So if you have to pick one research project that you're most proud of, one of the most, okay? It's a mean question. I know you do not.
A very mean question.
I
Choosing
know.
my favorite child.
Exactly. Let's say, who is your favorite child today? Yeah, let's not like, let's just go with that. So could you explain it to us? Pick your favorite child and explain everything about that child in super simple words in the section we call In Other Words.
That's such a hard question because I've got so many projects that I'm so fond of.
Of course.
I think I'll actually go back in time. I'll go to the project which I have most maturely explored, and there's the work from my PhD studying these complex metal oxides.
Mm-hmm.
In my PhD, I studied these perovskite-like oxides, which, although metal oxides are usually insulators, these metal oxides were conductive. Gave them interesting applications in nanophotonics, which gave them more applications in catalysis and all sorts of other things.
Mm-hmm.
My project was to study their synthesis, everything we can possibly find out about them at the near-atomic scale, and some applications. So I did all sorts of really cool experiments. Like the one that springs to mind is we make these metal oxides sort of like making a cake. We mix all of the reagents together, push it into a pan, and heat it up in an oven, except it's like 800, 900 degrees rather than 220 for 30 minutes. And the literature, when we started the project, said you needed about 8 hours to complete the work. But some experiments we had done, we found it was taking more like a couple of minutes. But we wanted to know just how fast. Now, this is not microscopy, but microscopy later, I promise. To find out how fast it actually took, we were lucky enough to get some time on a neutron source to do neutron powder diffraction. It's just like X-ray powder diffraction, but with neutrons instead. So it's a bit harder to get to, particularly in Australia.
Uh-huh.
And so what we did is we mixed our little cake batter together, and we put a furnace into the neutron beam, and we literally dropped our samples into the furnace, into the beam, to heat them really quickly, collect patterns every few seconds, and see what would happen. And in our first few experiments, we watched the patterns change every 30 seconds or so, and then all of a sudden the reaction was complete. It was done. We were shocked. We thought, oh, it's faster than as fast as we're collecting patterns. So we had to do more experiments. We'd change our experiment plan while we were there to bring down the time sampling period. And the reaction was done in like 15, 20 seconds. So much faster than we thought, and way faster than the literature made it seem. That sprung to mind as an experiment that was really cool because it used brand new equipment on high-end research infrastructure and found something totally different to what the literature was expecting.
Uh-huh.
That project was also overflowing with microscopy. Like those metal oxides naturally grew as these beautiful little cubes, look like dice, I suppose, which look beautiful under the SEM and the TEM.
Oh.
You can change the synthesis conditions and get these rods, look like bundles of sticks. Beautiful stuff.
Oh, wow.
There's a lot of fun material science and characterization in that project.
That sounds so cool. That sounds so cool. So I hope you published that work other than just your PhD work that, hey, you don't need 8 hours. All you need is 15 to 20 seconds, however longer.
We submitted a journal cover and they accepted it. So although, microscopy is known for its pretty pictures and neutron diffraction is not, we were still able to get a pretty picture out of the neutron diffraction on the journal cover for that issue.
Oh my God, that's so cool. Which journal cover are we talking about here? You can name drop. It's okay.
Journal of Physical Chemistry C, sometime in 2021. Unfortunately, I don't remember the issue number. Guilty.
That's okay. That's okay. I'm sure you will show it to us, your followers, and we are talking about on the Real Scientist Nano Twitter account. So
yeah, can't wait.
And how was the response of the research community then? They must have been like, what?
That's a hard question. I didn't see that one coming. Well, the reality is it actually hasn't been cited more than a couple of times since 2021, so the impact was a lot less than you think.
Okay. Did you talk about this paper at different conferences?
Well, as soon as I published this paper, as soon as we did this experiment, we entered the coronavirus era and conferences were all essentially shut down. So although I had abstracts ready to go to present them, I didn't actually attend any conferences related to crystallography and this sort of metal oxide material science after my PhD. So unfortunately, no, I haven't had a chance to present this exact work at any conferences.
Okay.
It's a big shame. Always regretted it.
Okay, let's try to change that when you're taking over the Twitter account. This is like a game changer, right? Because going from 8 hours to 15 seconds, that's a humongous amount of time that can be saved. And not just time, but also resources, because it takes a lot of energy to keep the oven or the pan going for 8 hours at 800, 900 degrees. So this is amazing. We hope you enjoyed this snippet. Check out the full episode by following the link in the show notes. A lot of work goes into creating every episode of Under the Microscope. We meticulously look for the best materials and nanoscientists from around the world to feature on Under the Microscope. So do leave us a review and share your favorite episodes with your favorite people. Thank you very much.